Audit or investigation? What's the difference? How do you know? An audit theoretically is a check to see if you're paying the right amount of taxes that you're supposed to pay. Now, according to the Privacy Commissioner, audits are investigative by nature, and that's extremely true. And auditors are used to people making mistakes, playing games, cheating, or whatever. So they automatically assume that you're a tax cheater. That's just how they act. And they dig into things. So they're not supposed to investigate without telling you. And sometimes an audit becomes an investigation. And usually that's called crossing the Rubicon. So the way it's supposed to work, the auditor audits, gathers all the information. If they, at the end of their audit, are suspicious that you have unreported income, hidden wealth, offshore accounts, whatever, they refer it to investigations. It goes through a screener who decides should they in fact investigate. And then they're supposed to notify you that you're being investigated. Now, they can investigate and audit at the same time, but they have to be independent from each other. And the investigator cannot use the auditor as their agent. If they investigate under the guise of an audit or as an agent for the investigator, the evidence cannot be used in court. It will be thrown out. And it doesn't mean to say that you get away scot-free, because they still have information that they can use. So don't think that your charter rights protecting you is a get-out-of-jail-free card. But it certainly can help your situation, and you may get away with some of the tax liability or all of it because they violated your rights. But you really have to be able to look at it and say, did the information come as a result of an investigation pretending to be an audit, or the auditor acting as an agent? So the interesting thing that happens is that the investigations start, and they start digging into everything. And what you need to know is that if they ask you a question that's not related to auditing, you simply ask, is this an audit or an investigation? And they often will just withdraw the question. So if you're in control of the audit, your records are good, your explanations are good, it's not going to turn into an investigation. CRA is hesitant to investigate because it's costly. Even though investigations has an unlimited budget, unlike auditing, they don't want to waste their money. They have limited resources, so they want to go after the people that they feel need to be taught a lesson or would make a good public example. They love to give people in the business who are working tax schemes, they like to prosecute them. Tax evasion is serious, and gross negligence penalties are serious but easy to get. And generally speaking, in most cases, unless they have a reason, they'd rather just slap you with 50% penalty and put you into collections. So in this whole thing, you really need help. If you're being investigated and it could be criminal in nature, I really strongly advise you getting a criminal lawyer. And what we sometimes do is the lawyer will then retain us to do the work for you. So that way the client confidentiality and the conversations and the knowledge is kept private. But also understand that just because you have a lawyer and client privilege, understand what that means. Client privilege means the conversation that you had between your lawyer and yourself to determine did you do anything wrong and what the repercussions of that are. That's private. But the documents surrounding that, they're not private. Canada Revenue Agency or the Department of Justice will issue a requirement to provide documentation, and you have to give it up. So the client privilege isn't necessarily all that big a deal. What is a big deal is that you get a lawyer who understands litigation, and only think about settling if you know that you're absolutely guilty and it's not vague. If you think that when you created your tax liability you didn't have a guilty mind about it, it's really hard to make the charges stick. So I strongly advise advice. There's a lot of information we can provide for you prior to legal advice that will help you in terms of going to a lawyer and getting legal advice. And it will save you a lot of money when you get to the lawyer, because you will be an informed client asking the right questions. So if you think that perhaps what you did could be seen as criminal in nature, that's serious. Give us a call. We can help guide you, and we'll make sure that you get to a lawyer who will give you good legal advice.